It is 14 to 3, and I'm getting a number of texts saying all sorts of situations. What the hell is happening in Linwood? Never seen so many armed police. Here's a text. Shots fired, 1:40 this afternoon, Christchurch, at a mosque, and people injured and at hospital. And the AOS and police in high activity level, and everyone told, many areas locked down, and Christchurch residents told to keep safe and keep inside and off the road. Just a moment ago, it is 7 minutes to 3. So what we know is that an event started at 1:40 this afternoon. We also know that at the Christchurch Mosque in Deans Ave, there were prayers for Jummah, which actually started at 1:30. We also know the Bangladeshi cricket team were there. 11 members of that side were there. That shots were fired at 1:40. We know that people were injured, that people ended out on the ground. We know that 6 people have been taken to Christchurch Hospital and 2 with serious injuries. As you heard from Aaron, there is helicopters circling the sky around Papua Nui, and I'm getting reports of that on the text as well about a number of helicopters in the sky looking out for stuff that is happening. The Westpac chopper has been circling around as well. And apparently a dead body has been seen lying near the Al Nur Mosque. We can confirm that a dead body has been seen by the Al Nur Mosque, where this started, which is obviously the news that we do not want to hear. We also know that all schools are in lockdown right now, and you are to keep away from windows. We also know that the police have wanted and warned people about going and rubbernecking. We also know that there's extensive police action in many places. We've had reports that there is extensive police action in Temuka. We've had extensive police action in Rolleston. About 35 minutes ago, we heard that there was extensive police action in Linwood as well. We also know that there is another mosque in Linwood. We also know that the Prime Minister has now cancelled all of her scheduled events today in response to this unfolding situation in Christchurch. She was to have spent the afternoon in Taranaki. She was to have opened the WOMAD Festival, but a spokesperson says that has all been cancelled, but no further details have been given to us. As you heard from Chris Lynch and Rachel Dask, council buildings have been going into lockdown as well as just schools. The Christchurch Art Gallery is now in lockdown. The Central Library is at lockdown. I told you earlier that the students who were attending the climate change protests at 1 o'clock were told to go home, but I'm now being informed that they are being sheltered in the civic offices. If you're concerned about your child who might have been taking part in the Cathedral Square climate protests, as many as they could find are now being sheltered in the civic offices. It is the Ministry of Education has advised all schools in the area to be in lockdown. We're getting reports of police people on hills, and it is certainly the AOS.
This is a NewsTalkZB developing story.
And now we can confirm there are reports that gunmen opened fire at 2 mosques in central Christchurch, with reports of casualties. Police, of course, urging residents to stay indoors. We had eyewitness accounts of extensive police activity in Linwood. There is a mosque in Linwood. I think it's Linwood and Buckley. And, of course, the original incident which happened at Deans Ave in the Muslim Association of New Zealand and the main Christchurch Mosque. Police say there is still an active shooter.
This is NewsTalkZB Breaking News.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm Raylene Ramsey. Police have confirmed there's an active shooter in central Christchurch with shooting at 2 mosques. We cross now to Scarlett Swetanovic.
Police have just put out a statement. They're saying that they are responding with full capability to manage this situation, but they are saying that the risk environment remains extremely high. So police are recommending that residents across Christchurch, that's across the whole of Christchurch, remain off the streets and indoors until further notice. All Christchurch schools will be locked down until further notice as well, and police are thanking the public for their cooperation, and they will provide further updates when they have it.
Thank you, Scarlett. NewsTalk NewsTalkZB has spoken to two people who were inside the mosque when the shooting began. The pair were covered in blood and say a lot of people are dead. Reporter Rachel Das has spoken to a doctor at Christchurch Hospital.
About 6 patients have been taken into hospital so far, 2 with very serious-looking injuries.
There are reports bodies have been seen near the scene of the shooting at Al Noor Mosque in Deans Avenue. And now there are reports of a second shooting near a mosque in Linwood. Christchurch painter Bruce Allett drove past the first shooting in the first mosque. He was driving down Deans Avenue about 2 and says he heard a lot of loud pops, which he thought were a nail gun. Then he says he heard people start screaming. NewsTalkZB caller Nikki was heading towards Brown Street when she saw armed police appearing to surround a vehicle.
There were police cars all over the show, and they had their guns out, and I thought they were pointing at a sort of gold-coloured Subaru because it looked like it had parked not very well on the side of the road, so they'd surrounded that car and were negotiating with whoever was in the car. I'm not sure.
NewsTalkZB host Chris Lynch says people must stay away from the area.
There are people that are trying to get into the central city to see exactly what is happening. That is foolish and irresponsible.
And Lynch says parents should not attempt to pick up their children from school until police give the all clear.
All Christchurch schools have been placed into lockdown. I repeat, all Christchurch schools have been placed into lockdown. This is no joke. Police urge anyone in Central City to stay off the streets.
Council buildings are also going into lockdown, including the Christchurch Art Gallery and the Central Library. Students who were taking part in the Cathedral Square climate protest are being sheltered in the civic offices. And the University of Canterbury has also been placed in lockdown. Chris was just turned away from Brougham Street and says police appear to have apprehended some people.
They've handcuffed some people and taken them away. They obviously have pushed a car off the road, a four-wheel drive, a silver one.
And the Prime Minister has cancelled all of her scheduled events today in response to the unfolding situation in Christchurch. Jacinda Ardern was to have spent the afternoon in Taranaki, including opening the WOMAD Festival. A spokesperson says that has all been cancelled, but would give no further details. Police are urging people in central Christchurch to stay indoors and immediately report any suspicious behaviour to 111.
In sport, members of the touring Bangladesh cricket test team were allegedly in the Christchurch Mosque on Deans Avenue at the time of the shooting. Cricket commentator Brian Waddle says they all made it out safely and have returned to Hagley Oval, where they are in lockdown, the location of tomorrow's third cricket test.
And are in lockdown with everybody else here in the pavilion at the Hagley Oval. You can see the flashing lights not far from here. It's basically walking distance, a good walk distance from the ground. But as I understand it, they're safe.
The Bangladesh coaching staff were reportedly at their hotel when the incident began, along with 2 of the players. It's still too early to know if the test will be affected.
All right, it is now 9 minutes after 3. Let's go back to our Christchurch newsroom. Chris Lynch, what can you tell me?
Hi, Andrew. Well, the information basically remains the same, but it does appear to be getting worse. Just to confirm, we have all of the central city now in complete and utter lockdown. People are not allowed to go out of shopping precincts or inside. The new library, that is in complete lockdown as well. The doors have been literally locked there. People cannot get in or go outside. The council building is now on lockdown. Just to repeat, to every school in Christchurch and the outskirts of Christchurch are in lockdown. Now, that appears to be a precautionary measure, but you cannot know or be too sure at this stage. So that's the latest information we have. This appears to be quite coordinated. Not only is the mosque in central Christchurch a focus of police, but also too, there's been unconfirmed reports of the mosque as well in Linwood, with a lot of police activity there as well. And I've got to tell you, Andrew, we never thought this day would come in Christchurch City. Our staff here, there's a real sense of nervousness, including myself. A lot of staff here at the station are feeling shaky. And all I can say is that the streets of Christchurch now should be, everybody really should be off the streets in Christchurch, because as we've been reporting, this is an active situation. We know as much as anybody is reporting, but it's not good. It's not good, and there is a real sense of nervousness too here at NewsTalkZB Christchurch.
Chris Lynch, and I thank you very much, text through saying our innocence gone, and a message, of course, from Chris. Thank you to NewsTalkZB for the coverage of this difficult situation. To the Christchurch people, stay strong, stay safe. As we all know, you can. Kiwis are with you. We're now joined by Murray. Murray, now you have a friend who's working at Christchurch Hospital. What are you hearing?
I don't have a friend who's working in Christchurch Hospital, but I have a friend who I'm in touch with in Christchurch at the moment who has a friend in the emergency department. And she is saying, or he is saying, that they're expecting 30 to 50 casualties. So people have a reason to be worried.
Yeah. So your contact has a contact at Christchurch Hospital who have been told to expect 30 to 50 casualties.
That's right. That's of 3 minutes ago.
All right, Murray. Thank you so much. Andy.
How you going, mate?
Good. Where were you at the time?
I'm at Papanui High School. I was about to pick up my granddaughter. There's probably 30 plus police cars surrounded this place, and there's probably 40 or 50 armed offender squads walking around and going like ducks in order, one in the front and all ducked down behind. So there's something going on. There's a bit of movement now that looks like it's calmed down. They may have settled, found out what was going on in here, but the whole school's in lockdown. The kids are under there. Some of the kids are under their desks and told to stay under the desks. There's a whole lot have been herded back into the school hall, but every school in Christchurch is in lockdown by police order.
So how many police have you seen around Papanui? And let's remind ourselves that Papanui is what? It's about 4 kilometres away from the mosque, 5 kilometres as you're heading north.
Exactly, at least that far out of town, yep.
Does the railway line go through your Papanui? It does, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's just north of the school, but they're not concentrating on the railway lines. They're in the school ground. I can see there's 6 or 7, lots of the armed defenders squad are coming out of the school grounds now. There's police dogs. They're all with their rifles and what, heading back into their squad cars by the look of it.
All right, Andy, thank you so much. 0800 80 1080 is the number to phone if you can be our eyes without putting yourself in danger, obviously. But that is an incident in Papanui, and as I say, that's 5 kilometres away from the original incident at Dean's Ave at the mosque. We did talk to Aaron Kearn before, who talked about the railway line which goes behind the mosque and past the Girls' High and goes straight to Papanui, and he said what a great way that would be for an escape route. So that would make some sense, but again, I stress that this is just speculation. Earlier today, we had a phone call from a caller who said that there was a situation in Linwood, and indeed, on the corner of Linwood and Buckley's Road, there is another mosque at that location as well. This is certainly a Christchurch-wide scenario. And the last we had heard, there is still an active shooter. So once again, we repeat the warning to all residents of Christchurch to lock yourself in, to stay safe, and to keep off the streets. It's 3:14.
This April.
It is 3:17. An interesting text that I've got right now from someone who says, we understand that New Zealand is new to this sort of thing, but talking about where the police are has the potential to impact the manhunt. Well, yes and no, but it also has the potential to get people out of a danger zone as well. So I feel that is okay, but there we are. I am seeing coverage on a number of channels of wounded bodies going into Christchurch Hospital of blood, and I'm joined now by Kerry. Hello, Kerry.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
Agreeing with what somebody just told you earlier. I have a relative works at the hospital and overlooking the ambulance bay, and I've seen over 30 ambulances come in so far, and even with, unfortunately, children involved. So, yeah.
30. So your contact at Christchurch Hospital has seen 30 ambulances arrive at the hospital grounds.
Yes.
With injured people, including children.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, very upsetting.
How was your niece?
Yeah, okay, yeah. But they're in lockdown, so yeah, not able to go anywhere. But yeah.
Well, they're in. We've also had unconfirmed reports of shots being fired around Christchurch Hospital as well, Kerry.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah.
And again,
no, she hadn't heard anything along those lines, but yeah.
And a busy day at work.
I'll say, yeah.
All right, Kerry, and I thank you so much.
Okay, no worries.
NewsTalkZB, this is a developing situation. There has been a shooting at the Christchurch Mosque in Deans Ave. I think we can confirm this. It is at 1:40 this afternoon. It has involved police streaming around all of Christchurch. They have told us there is an active shooter and have told all residents in Christchurch to stay inside and to stay safe. NewsTalkZB has spoken to two people who said that they were inside the mosque when the shooting began. The pair had blood on them. The pair were claiming that they thought there are a lot of people dead. We had a report just before 2 o'clock of a body on the ground outside the Al Nur Mosque, which is on Deans Ave, the main mosque in Christchurch. But again, I have to stress this, that the police have not confirmed any fatalities as yet. Council buildings are in lockdown, including the Christchurch Art Gallery and Central Library. Students who were taking part in the Cathedral Square climate protest are being sheltered in the civic offices. And the Prime Minister has cancelled all of her scheduled events today in response to the unfolding situation in Christchurch. She was going to open the WOMAD Festival. All that has been cancelled, but we have no further details as yet as to her movements and where she is heading to next. Armed police have been deployed. We've heard reports of armed police being deployed out of Timaru, perhaps as reinforcements. We've heard of action in Papanui involving 50 armed police, and that is 5 kilometres away from the initial incident. We've heard reports of action also in Linwood Ave and Buckley Road. It is 3:20. This is NewsTalkZB. NewsTalkZB. By the way, Friday, the most important day for Muslims, and a day they call Jummah, and a day when they make special prayers. There was a special prayer service happening at 1:30 in the Christchurch Mosque today, special enough that it attracted Muslim members of the Bangladeshi cricket side, 11 of them, as we've been told by Brian Waddle, radio sports cricket commentator. 11 of the 22 in the side went to those prayers. They then made their escape and ran the 300 metres away from the mosque and back to Hagley Oval, and all Bangladeshi cricket players have been accounted for. Hagley Oval, being so close to the mosque, is now in chaos and is now in lockdown anyway. There is chaos right across the city. A number of places where action is being reported. I have unconfirmed reports that there were 300 people inside the mosque for the afternoon prayers at 1:30 in the afternoon. 300 people inside that mosque. I have other texts that are coming through. A reliable source in Wellington has told a person that there are 7 dead and that police in Wellington are now preparing to travel. I'm getting an awful lot of very contradictory reports, though. But obviously, there have been enough reports to say that there is more than one more than one person involved in any attack. And as we've always said throughout, there is still an active shooter on the loose, because that is what has been reported to us from Mike Bush, the police commissioner. Mike joins us now. Hello.
Oh, hi, it's Mike here from Christchurch. Yes, I'm in Hornby, Islington, and there's the Westpac helicopter circling around here. It's just flown over our place, and it's heading now towards over the Riccarton Racecourse and around the upper Riccarton area as we speak. And there's more. I can hear sirens coming and going down the main South Road in Hornby as well.
Yeah, okay. So what's your attitude for the rest of the afternoon? Stay exactly where you are.
I'm staying exactly where I am. We're actually fortunate enough to be able to pick up the grandkids from school. So that was very, very lucky. So they're tucked away as well.
Okay, how did you get the kids out of school? Because the lockdown came down pretty quick for all schools.
It did. But anyway, there was a lot of parents already there when it was unfolding over the radio. So I think if they knew their parents were there, they just let them go.
All right, Mike, stay safe, and I thank you so much. We have had reports from Kerry that Christchurch Hospital has seen the arrival of 30 ambulances with people injured in it, including children. 30 ambulance. We've had one report that there was a fatality outside the Christchurch Mosque. We are hearing that there has been a situation at a second mosque in Christchurch, and police have been swarming that area. We do know from earlier reports that Linwood was seeing significant activity, and of course there is a mosque in Linwood as well. People in central Christchurch once again urged to stay indoors and report any suspicious behaviour immediately to 111. A reporter from NewsTalkZB has talked to a couple of people who were inside the mosque when the shooting began. The pair were covered in blood, and they also told them that a lot of people are dead. This is breaking news around the world and being covered on all major international global television networks at the moment. NewsTalkZB. This is very, very sad. Sorry, I just had to take a break. This is a very, very sad day for New Zealand and for Christchurch at this moment. And we wish all the best for anyone who has been involved in this event. And if you've been victimized in this event, and if you are the relatives of the victims as well, we wish you all the best. And I'd even go as far as to apologize for this. I've seen some stuff already, and you will be seeing stuff over the course of today that is not nice at Christchurch Hospital. Can I also praise the people at Christchurch Hospital? From what I've seen, they're working like Trojans. It's 3:28. It's NewsTalkZB. We've got the latest news from our newsroom in 2 minutes.